Mama said, all right. She said, all right.
And we live because it seemed like every time we start an episode, I hit the start button right when Nick started laughing about whatever dumb shit he laughing about today. But this is oh, my bad. I had to think one in the background. But this is episode 5 of the Double XP podcast. For you guys who didn't know, we did change the name of Double XP, Xbox versus PlayStation. It's still all the same for those who didn't catch that. It's normally a 2v2 podcast, but we switched it up. We got some special guests today. As usual, I want to start by introducing everyone, and I want to start off with the giddy ups, of course. So we're gonna start with my light skinned brother from another mother, from the PlayStation side, Mr. Nickodemus X.
Yo, what up? This is Nickodemus, the king of indies, and we added again out here today. We're gonna have a great cast. Definitely appreciate everybody that's joining right now, who will join, and all that good stuff. But yeah, let's get to it.
We got 2 more on the PlayStation side. We got another staple Crunk Girl.
What's going on, everybody? Y'all already know who it is. It's your favorite gamer girl, Crunker 711. Ready to talk about the Sony meeting. We've been knowing this stuff for months, but they finally confirmed a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff they didn't confirm that got new today. So yeah,
you've been knowing for months.
I mean, I have, but
we got a special.
But thanks for having.
We got a special guest on the Sony side, Mr. Official VG.
What is going on, PlayStation Nation? It is Mr. Official VG. Happy to be here with the homies. And yeah, let's get into it.
Oh yeah, you pre-ordered one too, did you? I saw that Amazon, bro.
Of course he did.
I got 2.
Wow.
We got the winning side today. We got Team Xbox. We're gonna start off with Mr. iDizzy, which I want to let you guys know. Unfortunately, this is the last episode with Mr. iDizzy. He will be leaving the show, so we're gonna go out with a bang. Go introduce yourself, brother.
What's going on, people? You know I had to show up and do this thing, especially on a day so lovely like today.
All right. We got my new partner in crime, my new buddy on the show. She gonna be with me every other Wednesday. Say hello to the newest mainstay on the Xbox squad, Mama Cita.
All right, it's Mama Cita, everybody from Classic Gamer Girls, and I'm here just representing Xbox, and you check my channel out, Classic Gamer Girls.
And then you guys know, like I told you last week, we got the man, the myth himself. Yeah. I mean, you guys can see, you guys know who it is. Yeah. Give it up for the boy next Gen, Mr. Bang.
Hey, listen, all I got to say is I get my hymns from him. I mean, listen, man, I ain't taking no prisoners, man. You know, I respect everybody, but listen here, man. We all know that conference was dog shit.
Nah, fam. Yeah. Not at all. Not even close.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, real quick, I want everybody to go through this real fast because, I mean, it's a lot to cover about this conference, but we're going to stick to our normal script. And I want everybody real quick, tell me what games you are currently playing this week. But people know me, I've been playing Deadpool. Got like $9 for Redbox sale. I've been playing Deadpool. It's a fun game. Deadpool for the for the Xbox One.
Oh, you told me so.
And Doom for the PS4. So, Nick, what you playing, brother?
So as most of you know, I recently got an Xbox One, so I've been on that Halo 5. Definitely enjoying that joint. And then on the PlayStation side, I'm still playing that Walking Dead Michonne, the game Abzu, playing that as well over there, and then still playing that Uncharted 4. I'm on my second playthrough of the campaign right now.
Next Gen, what you playing, brother?
Actually, right now, I'm next gen TV, bro. But we'll be back to playing come Friday. I'm buying another television. Best Buy dicking me around, man. I got this protection on my television. They've been trying to fix it for the last week. They don't want to cash me out, but I'm buying me a new TV regardless, man. My money long like train smoke. But I will be back on that. This new game I seen my man Aaron and Bang Bang even posting up gameplay. Live Lock. That looks
that joint look dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on that, and then 2K. Might get my hands on 2K a little early.
Okay. Mr. Official, what you playing, brother?
I'm keeping it simple, man. I just been on Star Ocean trying to work on that Platinum and Street Fighter, pretty much. Street Fighter 5.
So you playing spades and backgammon. I ain't mad at you, bro.
This guy.
Dizzy, what you playing, brother?
Man, I've been they just dropped an update on Ark, so I've been playing a little bit of that and a little bit of that Earthlock that they just released on the Games with Gold on the 1st.
Okay. Car Girl, what you playing, mama?
Well, as a fellow 2K gamer, you know what I'm saying? Zaire gonna love me for this. I've been on 2K heavy because that Prelude dropped this weekend, so I'm gonna be on 2K getting ready for that Prelude. And I've been playing some Madden, man. I've been on my sports stuff lately.
Okay.
Been on the sports games lately, man. It's that season.
Okay, Mama Cedar, what you playing, Mama?
Oh man, I've been hitting up my endless list of backlog. I've been playing Legend of Korra, Wolf Among Us, Division, Mad Max, and Prominence Poker. I'm telling you, I'm getting ready to go to Vegas in November, and Prominence Poker has taught me how to play poker. So it's a free game.
About to go to Vegas and cash out.
That's right. That's right.
So the reason everybody joined us, so everybody knows this is a debate show, and everybody debating and talking about this this PlayStation event today. So that's how we're gonna shake it up, okay? So I'm gonna let before we go on attack, cause you know the Xbox, we about to attack this thing to day's end. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm gonna go ahead and let the Sony guys tell us what they felt about the show. So I'm gonna let y'all go in whatever order y'all choose. Let us know what y'all thought about what Sony did for y'all.
Real quick, before we get rolling with this, I want to give a shout out to one of our subs. His name is Ramon White. He predicted when the release date would be down to a T. Like everybody else had it wrong, and he's been following us for the longest. And I told him I was gonna give him a shout out. So Ramon, shout out to you for being right. We're gonna let ladies go first on our side. Crunk girl. Let's start this thing off.
Overall, I thought the meeting, it was pretty cool. I was kind of about Rockstar not being there, but I had a feeling they wasn't gonna be there, man. Because Rockstar don't need Sony or Microsoft's like big time show to none of their games. Like they don't need them; they can do their own thing. So I thought Horizon looked really, really good, even though the stream wasn't that great. But when they did the actual video like format off of the stream and just straight, it looked really good. It's cool to see the games that we already had and then how they look on the Pro. That's really one of the things I actually wanted to see was how the games look and then how they look in Pro mode. I thought that was really good. The price is what surprised the hell out of me. That I was right. That the price they're going to try to undercut Microsoft, and I had a feeling they were going to do that. They got a whole year, man. So we'll see what they do with it. And we're going to see how Microsoft counters, because Aaron Greenberg been talking his smack on Twitter. It's been funny. We're going to see what consumers say. I mean, because that $399 price tag, that ain't bad.
That ain't no joke right there.
They got the show, man. Microsoft been saying a lot, but I want to see the game. Well, see, man.
Did we watch the same conference?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, Lord.
I don't think so.
Can we just keep it real for just a moment? Well,
I can keep it real and still just short of point.
I mean,
hold on.
Go ahead.
Was I extremely impressed? Oh my God, Horizon did that. And I think we finally see that Mass Effect is gonna be I think it's gonna have a Sony marketing deal since they showed it there. Because we didn't get none of the gameplay at E3. So that was kind of interesting too. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see Mass Effect coming. I don't know if any of y'all did, but I didn't see that.
You was excited about the multiplats?
No, I'm excited about first time. I'm just saying, I'm not a huge fan of my Mass Effect, but I had no idea someone showed their thing. Nobody did.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either, really. But that does look interesting.
I'm just saying, did you think they were going to show Mass Effect Andromeda?
I mean, here's the I don't give him any points for that.
I'm not saying.
I'm asking you a question, and I'm not going to pull any semantics. I'm asking you a question.
I was surprised to see it there. Horizon, Spider-Man looked good, and I just like the fact that they showed older titles and showed what they look like on the new system. I thought that's what they needed to do.
I just want to ask you one question. I'm gonna shut the hell up. So the games that they showed you today or whatever, they look better than what you saw at E3.
Horizon did for sure. I think the colors and stuff.
No.
They added HDR.
Let's not get into this. I'm gonna put it to you like this. It's hard to
so wait a minute. Just listen, because I want to make sure I get their point across. If she done, we're gonna let Mr. Official go.
Like pushing it, like, oh, this joint is gonna be doing this and doing that. I said, let's wait and see. And I've been like that for the get go.
I'm after Mr. Official.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Official.
All right, let's clear this out the way. Let's clear this out the way now before we run into any loopholes, because I know the games that folks like to play. All right. First off, it wasn't easy to tell via a stream. All right, especially via the stream of what it being on Twitch mostly. Now I can tell you later because I do have a 4K TV, and mind you, I bought a 4K TV before the PS4 Pro was announced or the Xbox One S. You know, I'm a year and a half. I say it's about to be 2 years. Come March or something, March February. 4K owner. So I'm not gonna judge this yet. I do want to get some videos though to watch, which I'm gonna try to do at least via 4K streaming via my smart TV app, but I haven't taken the time out to see it. But honestly, via the stream, because I was at work when I was watching it, I could not tell. And although I have a phone that does play 4K video and HDR, shout out to the Galaxy Note 4, regardless of the bad press it's getting. But
recall
7.
Bro, Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
you got a BlackBerry. What the hell? I'm sorry.
Nah, I got a 7. I got HDR on it too, but that's neither here nor there. But no, seriously though, it's kind of hard to determine via the stream when I was at work because the most that it was doing was 1080p, and my internet connection at work is kind of hit or miss. It's really crappy because I'm on the 63rd floor at work.
I know this is a debate. I just want to ask you a question because you kind of lost me. So you said it was hard to tell because of the resolution. So, you know,
no, it was hard to tell because of my connection. It wasn't hard to tell via my resolution.
You know, the resolution does not determine if a game has better graphics.
Yeah. No, but my connection was not that great, so I couldn't tell.
I understand. Oh, okay, you said resolution. That's what I was just making clear. I mean, no. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get.
I don't know what resolution Horizon was in.
But I mean, it I can't really tell, like I said, via the stream, but I do hope to see more footage of it or like some actual raw footage, because that'd be easier. Because I do remember like when the PS4 first dropped, they were dropping raw footage on certain sites and you could see them yourself. Now if they do that, that'd be cool. But I'm still gonna get the PS4 Pro. I'm looking forward to it. My expectations was in check though. I wasn't expecting it to be an Xbox Scorpio. However, I did expect it to be a little bit above the Xbox One S or whatnot. Overall, the presentation got its point across. They gave you the price point. They let you know the features that it has. They let you know that it wasn't any extra hardware needed to support HDR. So all PlayStation 4s from 2013 to now, you know, whatever model you have will support HDR.
True, right? That wasn't. It's not the same. That's HDR 1080p, not HDR 4K.
Yeah, I understand. I know it's not the same, but it's still just the fact that you don't need to get any hardware at least to support that feature alone. But now, I'm still not a firm believer of HDR. It's nice to have, I guess, for those who got the TVs, but I just got a simple 4K TV, so I'm not really too enthused about it.
I'm sorry. I'm interjecting here. I just want to say that you're going from 1 million colors to over 1 billion colors. There's a big difference.
Okay. I mean, I don't know yet. I'm not going to speak on something that I don't know about. I'm not going to hype up nothing that I don't know about, though. That's the thing.
No, it's not really hype. I'm just saying that we can't argue about 2 and 2 equals 4. I mean, you're going from 1 million colors to over 1 billion colors. It's a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's, and I'm happy Sony has it.
I mean, I'll find out when I get me an HD TV.
Oh yeah,
HDR TV. I should say, because I got a 4K. Okay. But anyway, I'll move on.
All right,
y'all good? Okay,
y'all got one more person left to state y'all case.
Yeah, real quick. So Mr. Official hit up a lot of stuff that I was going to touch on, but basically, before you guys chew up this conference, spit it out, all that good stuff, keep in mind that this conference, it was designed for the press. So it was really to address the business of things, to get the communication out there. And I think that Sony did a great job with that. So it really wasn't for you and for the fans and all this other stuff. Honestly, so it was for the press.
The PSX
you can't expect E3, you can't expect PSX and all this stuff. You weren't supposed to be expecting all these new games to show and all this other stuff. I don't know what the expectations was, but this conference was for the press to basically talk about the new hardware, to let them know what's going on with it, to give them the details so that they could, in fact, spread the word.
What's your name again, brother?
Know that there's more than
Nico. Just call me Nico.
Okay, Nico. I'm sorry. You saying that this show here was for the press? I know I'm interjecting here.
Go ahead. It was for the press. Yes.
a debate with some level-headed, not no poem. I thought it was coming to some places. Again, you said this show here was for the press.
Yes, it was for the press. It was
so
designed for the press.
Not for us to, so Sony did a show not to go out and lobby for our dollars.
No, fam. Sony did this for the press so they can get the communication out here. It was for the press initially, and then they decided to live stream it and stuff. So that's a fact right there. So that's just a fact. So whether you guys agree with that or not, I'm just letting you guys know what it was for. Yes, it's a fact.
Sony was going to have a closed event and decided the last minute. Huh?
Yes, they decided.
You got some documentation.
I mean, it was for the press. Did you see any normal folks in there?
No, it wasn't for the press because I freaking work for the press, so I already know what was up.
Hold on.
You said you said this is for the press. I understand that press. I mean,
that's what it was designed for. The presentation was designed for the press, is what I'm saying. So like all the press they got their invites and everything like that. There was no communication that was going to be a live stream, whatever, until like the last week or so. Okay, so they decided to let the public see what they were going to discuss with the press. So that's what it was designed for. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't designed to cater to you, the fans.
This is your opinion.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's a fact. So
is this somewhere documented? Are we dealing with semantics here? What the hell's going on here?
My brother, I work for the press. I already know what's up.
Okay.
I already know what's up. That's all I'm saying.
This is your opinion that this was for, so Sony wasn't having an event to lobby for their consumers, for their fan base, is what you're saying.
They were using the press to get that communication out. And they decided, I guess, to allow everyone else to see what they were going to be informing the press. That's what I'm saying.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let Nick finish this point so we're gonna switch to the Xbox side. I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay. So here's my thing with basically the communication, everything like that. I personally thought the conference was good. I personally thought the communication was delivered very well to where we understand what the Slim is, what the Pro is. I really think that they definitely have done a strategic move here to where they are undercutting Microsoft in a big way. Let's look at it this way real quick before I let you guys try to dissect this thing with crazy logic. Let's look at this thing realistically. PlayStation is once again going to have the console that's going to deliver the best games, first of all, the most and the best games, and also have the most powerful system on the market once again for at least a year, if not longer. Like for a year, there will be no comparison between the PlayStation and the competition for at least a year. You know what I'm saying? Now that's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? So you guys can, dissect this thing all you want, but that's the baseline fact right here, and that's the reason why Sony has done this in this way.
A year.
Yeah, at least
a year, if not longer.
If not longer.
Just have for a year.
No, they invested $millions to position themselves
for a year
to continue to saturate and dominate the market.
Microsoft?
How they undercut Microsoft?
Can you explain that?
Okay, so the way they've undercut Microsoft is, first of all, they're delivering, they're going to promote this thing as a 4K gaming machine. Okay, they're going to promote it as a 4K gaming machine, HDR, whatever you want to call it. They're going to promote it in that way. So from a consumer standpoint, the consumer is going to see this thing as not only the most powerful console on the market for $399, but also the console that's going to deliver them the best games as it's always been doing for this whole generation on top of that. So that's how they've undercut Microsoft to the point where by the time the Scorpio does actually even release, which let me point out, the Scorpio is basically a ghost right now. It's not even a tangible thing right now.
This nigga here's the paint.
No, I'm sorry. It's not even a tangible thing.
Wait to go in, boy.
No, it's not even a tangible thing. It's not even tangible. The freaking Pro is real. The Pro is real.
What's your name, Nick? That's Nick. Nick, I got Jaleesa and Mr. Official, and it's me, Mama Sita, Fame, and 2K. All right? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, I think this is gonna be fun. This is easy.
So that's really all I gotta say right now. Y'all go ahead.
All right. I
already know what points y'all finna attack on. I'm already ready for the.
Hey, Fame and 2K. You want to be called Fame? Fame?
Yeah.
Okay. Fame Entertainment 2K.
No, you're looking Fame. Fame. Cool.
Okay, I'm saying it right. Fame Entertainment 2K. Okay. All right. Can I just go first and I'm gonna shut the hell up and say nothing else?
Oh yeah.
It's okay to be a fan of something, so I just want to ask you guys a question. None of you guys saw any flaws or anything wrong with Sony today. Everything they did was perfect.
No.
I'm not saying that.
No, not at all.
I'm not saying that.
Not at all.
What the only thing that I'll say that they did wrong, or that I may not agree with, was the fact that they don't have an Ultra HD Blu-ray player.
Okay,
But
that's we're working in the right.
From what I understand is, I guess that was to undercut the cost of the possible Xbox One Scorpio.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's my guess.
Hey, wait a minute, Zaire. Before you go all in, let me just make my point right quick. So and I'll just go ahead and fade out so you can have it. But I just want to address this, this press thing. First of all, the conference was absolutely boring. It was boring. It was dry, and it was tired. It was absolutely tired.
It wasn't meant to be exciting.
If you mean
Right.
the press that you're talking about, you're talking about the Washington Post, the New York Times, CBS, ABC, then okay. But we're talking about the gaming press, the gaming media, the IGNs, the GameSpots. That's who we're talking about, the Polygons. And those people sitting in that audience were absolutely just bored. I think.
How you know they were bored?
Did you hear the reaction?
No.
I heard the reaction. There was one or two claps when the PlayStation was announced.
Yo,
there was
I could
one
kill
or
that
two
right now.
claps.
It wasn't meant
For that,
But that's not. But excuse me.
Go ahead.
But I'm addressing the
presentation.
The presentation itself. Okay, because if we're going to talk about E3's presentations and whatever other presentations and everything, then we can talk about this PlayStation meeting. And yes, I get that it's not E3, but you're still presenting your console to your audience, and everybody knows the gaming audience was wide open listening to that. IGN was live streaming it, so let's not just say this wasn't even for the fans. Yes, it was. It was for the fans. It was for the gaming fans. I'm only critiquing the presentation. It was just boring and it sucked. So.
Hey, Fame, do me a
The
favor,
presentation of the PS4 wasn't that exciting either, though.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Fame, could you inbox me the link? Not the link to the podcast, your link to your channel to the show, so I can tweet it out. Like get people in here.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm sorry. But anyway, so baby girl, you finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So I have a question to ask from the Sony guys. So I want with you, Mr. Fisher. So you said that the only one of the issues you have with the PlayStation 4 Pro is with them not including a 4K Blu-ray player, right?
I can see how it can be an issue, yeah.
Okay,
because
you said, and the reason why you think that Sony did this is to undercut Microsoft's price because of the 4K Blu-ray player. That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that because even though it's still going to have 4K content, it's going to have 4K streaming. I'm guessing it's going to be, I don't know for sure, I'm guessing that it will be 4K movies in the PlayStation Store or something to that nature.
All right, let me say this. Okay. Now, as far as them removing I deal with facts. Okay, so one thing we can debate all day who has your opinion about who has the better exclusives, and that's your opinion. One person may like God of War, another person may like Gears of War. That's your opinion. So we do fact. We're not going to bring your opinion here. We deal with facts, right? When we do a debate, you deal with facts. That's why I'm like 50 and 0. Just 50 and 0. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about something like, my fact. Now, the reason why, I'm going to give you a fact. If you're not, the reason why the PlayStation 4 Pro doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player is because their SoC chips that they wanted to use for their 4K, they weren't ready yet. So Sony's official 4K player, Blu-ray player, is not going to be out until 2017, and that's a fact. Not that's the reason why the PlayStation 4.
Could you link that?
Just know that I'm getting it from somebody that works within the industry. It's from a verified email.
I know people that work within the industry too.
I'm talking about the television. I'm not talking about the gaming. I'm talking about the TV industry. He works for just say one of the Samsung.
So
LG,
he works for a TV industry, but he would be able to tell you about what's going on inside of Sony's hardware.
It did because they have to get an FCC approval from Japan. When you make products, the SoC chips that's going inside their Blu-ray player that's not coming out until 2017. I'm looking at the official email right here. I have no reason to lie. I'm swearing on my child. So that's the reason why it's not the undercutting the price. So when the rumor came out that maybe the PlayStation 4 Neo may be pushed back until 2017, actually wasn't to upgrade the specs of the Neo. It was to include an actual 4K Blu-ray player. Now, again, I will say this: if any of you guys think I'm lying, I'm betting you guys a game right now, and you know what I mean. At the end of the day, you know what I mean. But anyway, I said it to say this. I can show you in the call. I can show you the email. Just don't, just saying, I can trust you. You're an adult with family and kids. I want to lose their job if you don't believe what I'm saying. It's because of the chips. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So that again, even if you look on a couple of these tech sites, they actually tore down a 4K Blu-ray player. It's like a $10 chip in the lens. It's not really expensive, so it wasn't again to undercut the price of the the Scorpio or whatever the case. And you guys, and I see a lot of things from the Sony camp, people saying Sony win it because of the price. You don't know what the Scorpio is going to be. You guys assume it's expensive because it's more powerful, but you're not looking at what's going on right now, because like NVIDIA is giving you, and even though they're not using NVIDIA in Sony or Microsoft, but we all know NVIDIA is more expensive than AMD. You can get a GTX 1070 for about $350. It's more powerful than a Titan. So like I said, technology, you can say, is becoming cheap. Like I said, they're using Zen, which if you listen to what Phil said, they could have did what Sony did, gave us a bump up, but they wanted a true push as far as technology, and that technology those chips weren't going to be ready until 2017. Yeah, so we now, and so again, like I said, this is fact. I'm not giving you my opinion. Just getting down to the conference. So the conference, okay. And like I said, like I've always said, and this is from somebody again. I got called everything but a child of God when I said these new consoles were coming. I don't know if you know, like I was the first person saying that these new consoles were coming before Kotaku, before all this stuff. Again, the same person that told me that was the same person that told me DirectX 12 was coming to the Xbox One. How I got teased about that. Everybody's saying, and I said that in December of 2013, and Microsoft didn't announce it until March GDC 2014. Fact. The same person who doesn't have a dog in this fight, they want their games to sell on both consoles, whether it's Microsoft or Sony. And again, this person here works for, let's say, out of the top 3 developers, whether it's Rockstar, EA, or Activision. He works for one of those companies right there. Now, the person that told me this. So anyway, just getting back to the press conference, I just want to lay my premise of what I'm going with this. I told you guys then that Sony showed the Neo at E3. And it was a public assistance that it was the Scorpio that put the fear of God in Sony, and the reason why they didn't show the Neo at E3. Sony knew that the Scorpio was going to be more powerful than what they're working on, because again, they're both doing business with AMD. And and so I'm quite sure I know that AMD showed, hey, listen, Sony, we got the Zen and the Vega coming out next year. No, Sony wanted to go with this. They went with Polaris. They knew that Microsoft was going to go with the Zen or the Vega as far as 2017. What caught Sony off guard again was the Xbox One S. So those features that Sony was bragging about on stage and about 4K, they say they never say native 4K. You'll be able to game in 4K and stream in 4K. Microsoft took those same features they was on stage with my man Nick, so they was bragging to the press about, and put that in a standard console for no additional cost. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what knocked the win out of Sony. So how can we come on stage talking about a PlayStation 4 Slim and even the Neo? Here, Microsoft announced the Scorpio was more powerful than it. Because normally Sony brag about their specs. They ain't pop shit under the hood today. They would normally, be bragging about them specs. But how can we follow suit with that? How we come behind that? Well, here's Microsoft giving you the Xbox One S and taking your same features. They spent 4K, and they was very cheeky and coy about that 4K because it's not native 4K. It doesn't even have a native 4K, Blu-ray player. You know what I mean? But 4K, and they took those same features and put it in the Xbox One as standard. You know what I mean? Again, we just gonna deal with facts here. Now, like I said, multi-plats are subjective. We can go back and exclusive, but it's one thing we can't argue is multi-plats. Now, it's the coin has turned, because now the Microsoft is gonna have the better version of the multi-plats. We're talking about a big difference, you know what I mean? A big difference, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So that was Sony's strong suit. It wasn't exclusives, because right now, you guys like to praise Uncharted, but it wasn't in the top NPD after the month that it came out. It's multi-plats that rule. Madden, NBA 2K17, we see the same Destiny or whatever, you see the same 10 multi-plats month after month after month, you know what I mean? Exclusives, it's just not back in the day with Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario. It's the multi-plats that rule, and Microsoft is going to have the better version of the multi-plat. Now, again, to this press conference again, it was very boring. My man, they should have had some better speakers. They're trying to nail this thing home. And I know Sony fans said that Microsoft killed the Xbox One S after E3 by announcing the Scorpio. What the hell did Sony just do? When is the version? When was the need for me to buy the Xbox Slim? I'm sorry, the PlayStation 4 Slim if you guys are showing me, and the reason why they do a side-by-side comparison of those games, because they still have to sell the Slim. They can't make it seem that it's obsolete. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why they didn't again show a big side-by-side comparison. But again, if the Neo is, and which I'm happy that they do have HDR, and I'm gonna say I got a lot I want to say, but I'm gonna let other people talk. But like I said, the HDR stuff, like I said, that they doing the standard is not the same HDR. You know what I mean? I want to be clear that the Xbox One S, again, they're doing HDR in 4K. And I know you said you don't like to hype up something that, which you should be hyping because Sony has it, because, like that's a big deal. And I'm happy that they do have it. Like you said, you're going from 1 million colors to over 1 billion colors. That's bigger than the jump than going actually from 1080p to 4K. You know what I mean? For those who've never seen anything 4K native, it's a big, even upscale to 4K, it's not the same as 4K native. Like that's, you talking about something
That's
beautiful.
true. I know that.
Yeah, that's
how much of it. I'm asking a question here. How much?
I mean, it's notable. We talk. Well, again, it's like I will compare it. Remember how when we first got the PS3 and the 360, and we went from standard to and it blew our mind. Like that. It's like that all over again. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can compare.
So upscaled 4K and native 4K are that much of a difference?
Oh yeah, it's a big difference. It's a big difference, bro. It's a big difference. You're taking 2 million pixels, or you're stretching it out to fit. Yeah, what's it? 8? I think there's 8 million pixels in 4K. So you're taking 2 million pixels, I believe it's in 4K, it's 1080p, and stretching that out to fit the screen. That's all. You're taking whatever is 900p, 720p, or whatever, and you're stretching it out to fit the screen. That's all. Basically, what you're doing. Maybe a little brighter. It's a huge difference, bro. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a big. But anyway, as I was saying. The show was very boring. Even with the PlayStation 4 Slim, I don't see again, where it was. I mean, I understand pieces and parts become cheaper and stuff, but like the fact, like, damn, they just fucked over their consumer base. Excuse my French, because Sony was just being cheap. You know what I mean? There was no need again why they couldn't give the Slim some 4K features. You know what I mean? I understand about, I just told you why I really just have a 4K Blu-ray player, and that's not their fault because the chips that they're using from whatever company are not ready. You know what I mean? So I can't even hold that against Sony. You know what I mean? But again, they were going to do the Slim remodel. They could have gave the PS4 Slim a 4K upscaler. You know what I mean? But maybe, like I said, again, because again, the PlayStation 4 Pro, whatever you want to call it, is not doing native 4K. So that's going to be the nail, because again, you Sony guys, you guys have been pumping this resolution stuff for the last 3 years. It hasn't been about the better games. I always thought it was crazy that the console game was arguing over resolution when 90% of the PlayStation 3 library was 540p upscaled to 1080p. Fact.
It hasn't been all Sony guys.
I was about to say, like,
it hasn't been all Sony guys. It's been on both sides.
I didn't say.
It's been on both sides, dog. Both sides been hyping that up.
Again, I think it's silly. I'm not saying you guys on the board, but I think it's silly for console gamers to be arguing about frames per second and resolution. I mean, if that meant that much to you, again, you should be playing on gaming PC. But if it was a feather in your hat, you know what I mean, y'all had the more powerful console. Like, I'm just being real. If games looked 50% better on my PlayStation 4, at the moment, I would most game on the PS4. I'm a consumer before anything. But again, if it was that big of a difference somewhere right now, you wouldn't have Digital Foundry with those $50,000 PCs to, like, come on, I'm just being.
Hey, can I rebuttal something real quick before you rebuttal something that you had stated. So, first, I don't agree with the point that all third-party games on the Scorpio will look better than the Pro. I don't agree with that because Microsoft themselves said that console has the potential to do 4K 60, but not every game is going to utilize that or will be.
Right, bro. Resolution does not determine better graphics. It's
gonna be better.
It's the shaders.
I mean, how y'all know the graphics gonna be better? How do y'all know that?
Because it has the power. It had a power to run the graphics.
Are you want to debate that? Like, are you serious?
Do you guys know the full specs of this Scorpio?
At a minimum,
to even compare it to what is out right now.
Let me say this. Let me tell you like this. And again, I'm dealing with facts. Would you agree that could you game in 4K on a 980 GTX 980? People do, I'm gaming in, that's a popular car. People game in 4K on a 980. Do you agree or disagree?
Not 4K 60 from what I'm hearing.
Okay, fine. You do realize again, that a 980.
It'll probably be native 4K though, but probably 4K 30.
No. Again, the Neo, I'm sorry, the Scorpio is more powerful than a 980. And you guys are not, we're talking about a console. So the difference between the PC, first of all, if you guys are watching the show right now on Schools and Sections, so now, if you're watching the show right now on your computer, hit Control Alt Delete, look at your CPU usage. Games are not fully optimized. Developers don't fully optimize games for PCs. Why? Because there's 1,000 different iterations. Now, again, if you take a PC with the same specs as the PlayStation 4 Pro, that PS4 Pro would dance circles around that PC. Why? Because developers they know what they have. They have 36 CUs is going to be there. They had 8 gigs of RAM, and it's not 1,000 different iterations. Prime example, look at Batman Arkham Knight that came out. Didn't work on PC, right? You know, maybe what? Because it was poorly optimized. Console, I'm not saying that games don't run shit like sometimes on console, but it's not the same like on PC because, like, again, you may have a GTX 2520, but all that's not allocated for gaming. And if you can game at 4K on a 980 on a PC and on an open platform, why wouldn't hell would you be able to do 4K 60 on a console in a closed environment? That 12 gigs of RAM is dedicated for gaming. And you talking about not only is you bugging, not only is the GPU in the Scorpio more powerful, the CPU, Sony's the biggest Achilles heel in the PlayStation 4 Pro is they stay with them same Jaguar CPU, which is a very anemic CPU. You know what I mean? That Zen that AMD just showed off is outpacing the Intel in performance. Like that again is made for 4K gaming at an affordable price. So I say that to say this. That's just the fanboy thing. Even if let's say if it does 4K 30, the games will look better and run better on the Scorpio, and at a higher res doesn't make a difference. I don't care if it does 4K 2 frames a second. It's going to run higher and better than the Neo, which is this competition.
But what we do know about the Scorpio, we know what 8-core CPU, the 6 teraflops GPU that's been announced. We know 4K HDR native.
Some bandwidth.
Yeah, we do know
stuff they're still working on.
The 4K, but we know 4K.
They're still working on that. They promised,
native.
but it's still not it's not here.
But we know it's 4K native gaming though.
How's he trying to argue that?
I don't see. I'm not really. I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all are banking.
The reason I'm asking this question, the reason I'm asking the question, if we know that the Scorpio is 4K native gaming, and we know that, and why aren't Xbox gamers supposed to be excited about the Scorpio, but yet, PlayStation fans can be excited about the PlayStation Ps4 Pro.
It's perfectly fine for you to be excited about it.
But what I'm saying is why are we dismissing the Scorpio and saying, oh no, I don't know. But then we embrace what Sony announced today with the PlayStation
even better.
4. That's what I don't get.
It's even better. My man just said,
though.
Hey, hold on 1 second. My man, what's his name? Nick, my man with the red sign here. He said Sony that was going to advertise this console as being a 4K gaming machine.
Right.
Sony, first of all, the console can't do 4K native. It can't. It doesn't even have a 4K Blu-ray player.
I don't think they're going to be deceptive about that.
From what I was told, it should be able to.
What?
How's that not deceptive if you market it as a 4K machine?
Well, if you hear the communication in the conference, they were stating HDR
so
quite
if
a
you
bit.
Read between the lines,
they were stating HDR quite a bit, and then upscale to 4K. So that's going to resonate with the consumers that basically is going to be at a higher resolution. It's going to be a powerful console. It's going to be able to play on their 4K TVs, and it's going to deliver some high definition graphics that's going to fit their 4K TVs. So that's what the consumer is going to look at.
I'm not negating. Listen, bro, I'm not saying that the Neo. I mean, I keep calling it the Neo. The Pro has shit. I mean, it's cool. And I'm not saying that it's a trash console, but for you to sit and say that the games are not going to look better, like, bro. That's not even up for discussion. And
but I'm saying every game, there's no guarantee that every single game is going to look better. That's what I'm saying. You guys are banking on a lot here. Like, you're just stating stuff, and this is a year out.
Mr. Official,
this is a year out,
Can we agree on this? Is the PS4 more powerful than the Xbox One? Can we agree on that?
Yeah, right now it is, yeah.
Okay, so again, so it wouldn't be out of the realm for, some games to look, for games to look better on the PlayStation 4 compared to the Xbox One because it has more powerful hardware, right? Is that even something to argue about? Now you can have your own
preference. You were
trying
to debate that it wasn't. Just from
I mean, it's a 2 terabyte, 2 gigabyte GPU. It's more powerful.
Hold on, just a second, Mr. Official. Let me ask you this, brother. So now that we know that all of the PS4s in the market will be getting HDR, right?
Right.
What would somebody like me who I got a PS4? What would be enticing for me to go out and get the PS4 Pro if the only difference between my PS4 and the Pro is a 4K upscaler? That is the only difference. Why would I go out and spend $400 on something that all it's doing different from my standard PS4 is upscaling to 4K?
From what I understand is you can still do 4K. Now it's not going to be ultra settings or high, but you can do 4K. So I'm guessing it would be like 4K native or whatnot on the PS4 Pro, whatever you want to call it. So
it's a 4K buffer.
But honestly, for me, the bigger question is, will the PS4 actually be able to do 1080, 60?
Oh, it can do that.
That's the question. And that's big, though. But I do think that's big. That to me, that's a huger deal right now because there isn't most games that are able to run 1080p 60 frames per second. How many games have we really had this current gen?
Exclusives are though.
What I mean, you don't have one PlayStation 4 exclusive that's 1080p 60 frames per second. You don't.
We don't.
So, wait a minute. So
Fame.
No, you don't have one.
It's not just going to be the resolution, dog. It's going to be the graphics. Like the graphics are going to be better in general.
Not even that though. I mean, I could say it. What you're going to get when you get the PS4 Pro, you're going to get the ability to choose between frame rates to graphic fidelity. You're going to get also the option to stream. I'm not sure. You're going to be able to get the option to stream 4K movies. Now, whether or not you can buy actual 4K like digital downloads or whatnot, that's to be determined. We'll find out when it drops.
There's still even with that, a digital 4K movie is not. A disc looks much better than something being streamed. Being
But what if you are able to just download it directly to your console? Then
it's still digitally. It's still something digital than the actual disc. It's something digital. You know what I mean? It's not going to be play better than something native. Like you have a disc, a 4K disc. You know what I mean? It's not. It's you know what I mean. It's not. It's that. That's that. Again, that's you can look at any AB forms you want. A digital movie or whatever the case is not going to look better than the actual physical disc. It's that's not even something that's up for debate. You know what I mean? But my man here, I don't know how he's going to argue about games looking better. Like, we're not talking about who has the better exclusives. We're just talking about you have a more powerful.
I just don't think that.
As of right now, games probably will look better.
I just don't think it's guaranteed that every single game is going to look better. I don't see it.
It's like if you have a Titan X and I have a 560 Ti, we can play the same game. Well, guess what game is looking better? It's looking better on the.
It's because of what Microsoft stated. They said that every developer is not going to take advantage of the 4K 60. They may want to go to 1440p 60. They may want to do this. They may want to do that.
Nick, forget resolution. I just told you resolution does not determine graphics.
Exactly.
It's the shaders and the textures.
And I agree.
Okay, so you keep talking about 4K 60. You can say it again. Okay, we're talking about textures. We're talking about textures and shader. That determines if the game.
That's not guaranteed for every
graphic fidelity.
That's not even guaranteed for every single game.
Let me ask the panel a question. I think Next said this earlier, and it was a great point. So when the Xbox One S was announced, and then the Scorpio was announced, people said that the Xbox One S was dead on arrival because of the announcement of Scorpio. So now we know that the PS4 Slim will be released a couple of months before the PS4 Pro. So does that mean the PS4 Slim was a waste of time and is dead on arrival?
I think that was stupid.
No.
I don't
think so. I'm gonna tell you why, because I'm a parent. I'm sorry to cut you off, Delisa. I'm a parent, so that's a good deal for me to get. You know what I'm saying, for the kids or whatever. And then like for myself, because I'm a more tech savvy, tech driven person, I would get the PS4 Pro for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's a good reason. And then obviously when Black Friday comes, there's gonna be deals and stuff like that. So it's not really too bad because you still have the standard PS4 alongside for the people who don't really care for 4K, who don't have a 4K
You know what,
TV,
bro?
and
I
it's
think
not about to
again,
go ahead and upgrade.
and
And the
this is,
same thing could go for the Xbox One S or whatever.
okay, but listen, again, you guys are not taking this into. It's not. You're still talking about 4K. You don't need a 4K television to see the advantage of the PlayStation 4 Pro. Talking about
You
again,
don't.
more. You know, so it's gonna be games are gonna. I don't care if you have a 1080p television.
But it still provides you with a cheaper option, just like the Xbox
No, I'm just
One
saying.
S does.
What I'm just saying is this. What I mean, you said for people that don't have a 4K television, and then that is a big misconception because again, you don't need a 4K television to take advantage of the. Even if you don't have Black Scorpio, because we're talking about a prime example. I got an Xbox 360, right, and I got an Xbox One, but I got a 720p television. Okay, games will look better graphically on my Xbox One because even though I got a 720p television, because it's a more powerful console. You understand what I'm saying? So games will look better graphically, even though they're not playing it at a higher resolution because my television is only 720p. But you will be able to tell the difference between an Xbox One game and a Xbox 360 game on a 720p television. You can take a game like Madden. You play Madden on a 360 on a 7p20 television, and you play Madden on the Xbox One. You can tell which game looks better. You're talking about a higher, more stuff going on the screen, more enemies, tessellation, particle effect. We talk about all that comes into play. It says it there, and Sony's, you look at those leaked documents that you guys said were real for longest, whatever. It says it right there. You know what I mean? Even if it's preferred to have a 4K television, but even if you don't, you're talking, a higher graphic fidelity. And I think again that gets lost in translation here because again, people this whole generation with resolution and frames, and been pushing this narrative and not really knowing what the hell they're talking about. Console dudes, but not to disrespect anybody here. I'm not saying you know what the hell they're talking about. I'm just saying that it does kind of make the PS4 slim mute because why would I spend $300 for this? I'm not even getting the optical point. Now, damn, what if I got some Astro headphones? The other guy's not even talking about that. Like they took away the optical port. Like that. What if you got some Astro? You got some $300 headphones? Like, what the hell? Like that's crazy. What if you got a sound bar? You know what I mean? Like that's bananas. You want to hook it up to your console, you can't even do that. Like that's another thing. No one's even like that's another like hell. Like that's what you're talking about. Sony, like come on, like that's bugging. Like y'all bugging with that. And
hey,
even
can we get a timeout real quick? Sorry, not to cut you guys off, but just want to shout out everybody in the chat, everybody watching. Just make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Appreciate you guys joining.
You did give me the link. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you gave me the link. I'm sorry. I want to tweet this out. Yeah, but I'm not even looking at the chat.
I got a question.
Okay.
What were y'all expecting from the show? From the
Xbox Transformer.
That's a good question.
Wait,
that's a good question.
No. I'm just asking. For me,
so you expecting?
My ceiling wasn't high because I just didn't know.
So I'm sorry. You said what we were expecting. You coming through kind of choppy.
From what were you expecting from the show?
I was expecting to see some exclusives. To be honest with you, multi-plats. I don't really get excited for. I really don't get excited because again, whether you guys believe it, Sony showed you games running in the Neo mode at E3. If you think your standard PlayStation 4 can run a game, you saw No Days Gone. You saw those enemies on screen. We're talking about the PlayStation 4, which has an anemic CPU. Okay, let's be clear. This is something you can. We're talking about a console that couldn't run Assassin's Creed Unity at 30 frames a second.
Why do you think that? They said that was running on PS4, fam. What makes you think they're lying about that?
You want to do it again now?
I mean, unless y'all got proof or something otherwise.
I got you. So you want to sit and say? So this was
those were running on PS4, fam.
At
E3 there was.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So again, you're dealing with semantics here. So what you're gonna say? You will bet your last paycheck that No Days Gone or No Days Left was running on the standard PlayStation 4 with all those enemies on the screen.
Yes, PlayStation 4 is capable of doing that. Like they've been doing it all
but it can't run Assassin's Creed Unity at a locked 30 frames a second. Are you like, bro?
Infamous Second Son.
That's
even better.
That's that developer, dog. That ain't got nothing to do with PS4.
Even better.
That's got to do with that developer.
Now again, you don't have to take my word at face value. Now, like I told you why Sony didn't announce it, that you can choose what you want. Now, the person that was told this to me, again, was told that when they show, it's the same thing with PC, ain't nothing wrong with it. Normally, E3, when Sony or Microsoft show you the games or the multi-plats or whatever, they're running on a high rig. And, because they look better, running on a PC. But just going forward, Sony and Microsoft are going to show, until we get used to it, they're going to show you games running in Pro mode or Scorpio mode, at the end of the day. It's just, because they look better, they show better. But if you don't think the Neo was at E3, you saw VR, you saw PlayStation VR, prime example. You saw it in 2015. And those games they show look like PlayStation 3 games or 2 games. Just being real. They wasn't that graphically impressive. But when they showed VR this year's E3, that that Call of Duty looked like a PlayStation 4 game. That Tomb Raider or whatever, what else they showed? Batman and all, that was, and Resident Evil, those look like PlayStation 4 games. You look at, what's the other ones that Bloodborne, the roller coaster game, those look like PlayStation 3 games. They're not graphically demanding, but when they showed this year's E3, those looking like actually next generation games.
Zaire,
so again,
my brother, I played the PSVR in real life, dog, in real life, and I can tell you that the games do not look like PS3, and it was running on a PS4. You know what I'm saying? So they look freaking damn good. Just running on a PS4. I even know people that was up there myself that said it was pretty much on the standard PS3.
Okay. So again, I'm just being real. Those games that Sony showed at E3 look damn good. So what you're saying is this: there's no need to buy a Pro because what Sony showed at E3, those games look good graphically, and you think your standard PlayStation 4 can achieve those visuals, you're gonna say that with a straight face.
I'm saying it with a straight face.
Yeah, I'm saying with a straight face too. I'm saying that the Pro version is going to look 10 times better. And then what I'm saying also is what you guys saw on YouTube is not indicative of how it's truly going.
My man. So what you saw today looked at 10 times better than what you saw at E3?
No, that's what I'm saying. What you're seeing on YouTube, I'm looking at 1080p. I can't look at it any higher on my screen.
Resolution does not determine graphics. What you're saying that again.
I get that, fam. I get that. But at the same time, the resolution, that high of a jump in resolution, you're going to see a difference if you're looking at it on the right settings. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell a huge difference like that because I'm looking at it on YouTube.
He said, I'm colorblind, man. I can't tell the difference. I got cataracts, I got glaucoma, and my cell phone away. Bro, come on. Y'all can, at least keep it real. We can all agree to disagree.
PlayStation VR, I can't say what it looked like. But
we can all agree.
But I can say this much, that the games at E3 look way better than what they've been showing.
Oh, that's all
I'm saying. I thought Riggs looked good, though, at PSX from what I've seen.
Riggs looks very good.
Yeah, Riggs looks extremely good. Now, that
take it from a person who actually played VR.
I saw that with my own eyes.
Y'all try to get into conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I played VR, too, so I know what's up.
Yeah, Mr. played VR at PSX, and his wife, I didn't get to play it because the lines was just too freaking long. But I did see Riggs, because I seen Barry playing it. Y'all already know who Jay Barry is.
And I played PSVR at PlayStation at PSX 2014.
You was at PSX 2014 in Vegas?
I was in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah. That's what's up. I was at them too.
Yep. Yeah, he was there too. I see. Last year was my first PSX, so I wasn't really worried about VR. But they did show me better games at E3. Like that Resident Evil was already
looking like PlayStation 4 games, right?
People were playing Resident Evil at PSX and didn't even know it. I don't know if y'all know that or not. That whole
that kitchen demo.
That's Resident Evil. That was already playable at PSX. I didn't get to play it, so I didn't know. But my whole shouts out to my girl Timbo. She been raving about that game for the longest, and it turned out to be Resident Evil. We had no clue what that was. So the games have already been looking like that because she was already playing.
Yes, man.
But I will say the games at E3 for the PlayStation VR look really good. They look like full form games. I will say that much because I'm still not sold on PlayStation VR. But the thing is, I haven't tried it yet. But some of the games that they did show, I actually did like. I will say that much because they actually showed me some. I'm like, okay, now this looks interesting. That looks good. Like I can't say, oh well, isn't not. Some of the games, the only game that I actually saw up close was Riggs, and Riggs looks really good and really fun. I seen that in action. People actually playing.
I'm here. Just give me 1 second. I'm ordering a pie for my kids. Hold on.
Yeah, like I seen people playing that shit on regular PS4s. Like it wasn't because since we know what the PlayStation Neo looks like now we can say that the games that they had at PSX were on regular PS4s. They wasn't none of that stuff they had playing those games looked like the PlayStation Pro or Neo.
Really quick, I apologize if we can. I want to get an opinion from Dizzy. You seem to be kind of lost in the shuffle. I know it's a lot going on and everyone's really heated. But my man Dizzy been kind of sitting in the back, and this is last episode, so I kind of want to give him a little shine, man, and know, really what his thoughts about today.
Let them speak.
This entire time I'm still dumbfounded on the whole 4K part about like advertising something as 4K and saying that that's okay, pretending that it is 4K. When if it was on the other side, that we would be talking about, oh well, this is upscaled.
Nobody's pretending though.
I'm pretty sure that Fame had said earlier, the theme of this meeting was upscaled. Years ago, the theme of the meeting for the Xbox One reveal was television and TV this, TV that. It definitely was upscale for this meeting.
So you guys think that the games look like trash?
No, I'm not saying them like trash.
No.
What I'm saying,
listen. Y'all saying the games look like trash?
I'm not saying
because it's
no.
upscale. Because it's
I didn't say
upscaled.
that.
Okay, listen. Because it's upscaled, that the games weren't impressive. Like what you saw and what you heard wasn't impressive.
Same thing. This is the same narrative that has been driving in this whole console war since the Xbox One and the PS4. Because you're saying, oh well, Rise looks like trash because it runs at 900p.
Who said that?
Dead Rising looks like trash because
I don't think nobody in here said that.
No, hold on.
Everybody said that about the Xbox One
About
game.
Rise? I think everybody said Rise looks damn good.
Listen, hold on.
When I say everybody, I'm talking about like the gaming media.
We're not talking about people in here. But the problem is, this whole generation, we've heard how Xbox upscaling 1080p looked like trash. It didn't look as good as a PlayStation at native 1080p. So now that the tides have turned, now upscaling is okay. Upscaling to 4K is perfectly fine, but when you upscale to 1080p like the Xbox One did, that was bad. That was trash. But now upscaling is perfectly fine. HDR is more than just a filter now. All that's perfectly fine now, but 6 months ago it wasn't.
Well, I didn't care about HDR.
Okay. So let me hold on real quick. Let me ask this. So the Xbox One, the reason why it's not dominating the this console generation is because of how it has been betrayed as the weaker console. That's what you guys are saying. It's solely because of that? Is that what you're saying?
That's the main driving point.
No.
Is that your driving point?
Okay, so here, listen, and you guys can rebuttal this or whatever you want to do after I say this. This is my opinion about this whole thing. The reason why PS4 has dominated this whole generation is mainly because of the games they have to offer, whether it's exclusive, AAA, AA, whatever the case it may be. They have a lot more different types of games, a lot more games that appeal to a lot more people.
No,
that is no. Listen, let me finish, and you guys can rebuttal. This is my opinion. That is, in my opinion, the major reason why. Now, when it comes to this being a little bit more powerful, whatever like that, yes, the media has basically thrown that in you guys' face. The PlayStation fanboy community, PlayStation community, whatever you want to call it, has thrown that in your face. And basically, all generation Xbox fans have gone into their shell. Fans and Microsoft have gone into their shell. And now that there's new hope that this more powerful console is coming out, you guys think that that's going to turn the tide just because it's more powerful. Now, listen. Now Microsoft is coming out their shell. Now you see Microsoft finally on Twitter again throwing out shots. And the Xbox community is back once again to throw out shots because they think that because their console is going to be slightly more powerful, they're back in the game. I'm telling you guys right now, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. That's not the reason.
Hey, my man. First of all, it's not slightly more powerful. Okay, let's get that straight. It's not slightly more powerful. It's a lot more powerful. Okay, we gotta be realistic here. Okay, I'm not saying
just like the OG Xbox was.
Okay,
it was more powerful.
No, okay. The reason. Okay, you gotta realize this. The OG Xbox came out a year later. First of all, and the PlayStation. Well, again, the PS2 got a lot of hype. The reason why the PlayStation 2 was so good, first of all, it was the cheapest Blu-ray player, DVD player at the time, and second, those multi-plats that we have today were exclusives back then. The Metal Gears, the Grand Theft Auto, and they did come to the Xbox. It came a year and a year and a half later. So again, that was it wasn't that Sony was picking out exclusives after exclusive. No, it was the third party, the Capcoms, the Konamis. Those games, like I said, the Devil May Cries, the Metal Gears, all these games, you know what I'm saying, they were exclusive to the PlayStation 2 back then. Back what you were saying, it's not that Sony has a bigger priority game to appeal, because these games that you're talking about don't sell. One Piece Blood 7,000. It's one thing we can.
That don't got nothing to do with the game, though, player. You moving in the sales. You moving the goalposts. Stay on top.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that the reason why the people are attracted more to the PlayStation is because the bigger variety of games. If that was the case, with a 45 million install base, you wouldn't have games like One Piece Blood selling 7,000 copies. That's like I said. We can go back and forth about your opinion.
Well, what is it selling on Xbox One? It's on both consoles, so don't try that.
But again, the reason why the PlayStation 4 was selling as well as it was the same way as the 360, because it has the better version of the multiplats. What hurt Microsoft is when Call of Duty came out. What's that? Call of Duty Ghosts, and it was 1080p on the Ps4, and it was 720p on the Xbox One. You understand?
It was also more though too, for less performance
of the multiplats. You know what I mean? And like I said, and with the $100 price tag, even with all that. And it was, well, I'm going to pay $500 more.
Price tag hurt too.
I'm going to pay $500 for a weaker product. I can get something for $400 that's more powerful. You can that paid a major deal, a major deal. You know what I mean? It would have been cool if it was $500 and it was more powerful, but it was $500 and it was weaker. So that's, I mean, again, I'm an Xbox dude. I don't mind.
So you saying the Xbox One is a failure?
Yeah, that's not a failure. That's what
you saying.
Listen, no, don't put words in my mouth. How could something that's outpacing the 360 that was sold over 90 million consoles be a failure? Like, come on, bro. It has
the PS4 is outpacing both. So
okay,
that's a win.
I'm not saying. What you mean? First of all, what wins? What wins? Like, first, none of that money goes in money. You know who wins? Who makes the most money this generation? And who the fuck is making the most money? Excuse my friend. Who's making the most money this generation? But every game, just 99.9% of the games that get sold on the PlayStation 4, so Microsoft gets a check. Why is that? No, why is that?
What do
they own? What do they own? They don't own the Havoc engine. They don't own the Havoc engine. They don't.
Oh my gosh.
They don't
really. So you got proof.
That's like me saying that Sony gets money off of every Xbox One and everything because of the Blu-ray. Dog.
They do.
Exactly.
No.
Difference.
So they both exchanging funds.
Okay. I'm about to defute that.
They do. Sony gets like $1 or $2 off every Xbox.
No, it's not even that much.
Okay, but that's not even something to bring up, dog. That's not something to bring up, dog.
I'm gonna give you a sudden fact. First of all, it's a big misconception that Sony owns Blu-ray. They don't own. What Sony did was they
own a percentage of it.
No, Microsoft was also on the Blu-ray board. You have to do your facts here. What Sony owned, Sony was the first person to patent a Blu-ray player. Microsoft doesn't pay Sony anything. Microsoft pays the person that provided the disk drive. Secondly, the security code that keeps you from breaking Blu-rays down, Microsoft owns the security code. That dash code, that one. Sometimes you see when you put a Bluray in your PS3 and it's give you the error. Microsoft owns the security in that. Like I said, Microsoft got their hands in so many different pots. The games that Sony used, the program that Sony used to make their game, that visual game, Microsoft owns that. Like again, even better. I'm gonna give it to you in your favor. Agree that Microsoft sold more consoles than Sony last month, right? We can all agree on that, right? Like 10,000.
Oh yeah.
But okay, so it was like let's say 90,000 to 100,000, right? But who made the most money? Sony made like 40 million more. So no, it wasn't that much. It was like 10 million more. You know what I mean? So who really won last month? Who made the most money? Why? Because Microsoft cut the price of the standard Xbox One to $250. That fire sale to get rid of the old Xbox Ones. Even though they end up selling more, they make less money. So again, like I said, we can go back and forth this fanboy stuff about who sold this. I don't care about none of that. That doesn't affect me. I still get the same multiplats. Now, if it's a private selling like the Wii U, then it's a problem. When I'm not getting third-party support, then we can sit there. But all about who sold. First of all, you can't even listen. It's not even Sony's not even in a position to talk about money with Microsoft. Let's be real.
Ooh, you a good snake.
Let's be real. Boy. Again, it's about who makes the most money. You know what I mean? Minecraft. You know what I mean? That's the game sells about 50%.
You do know that Minecraft on the PlayStation was also published by PlayStation themselves, right?
Huh? It was what?
It's published by PlayStation themselves. Look it up.
But Microsoft
owns it. Don't give me who publishes. Microsoft owns it. So again, Microsoft they want their software on as many platforms as possible. You know what I mean? And that's how they make their money. You don't make any money off hardware. How they make their money is from software itself and royalty check. When I will give it to you in your favor. When
we do know that PlayStation makes more in software than Microsoft, right? Even with them being on PC and all that stuff, they make more money than Microsoft.
And say that Sony makes more money?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Software, yes, they do.
So you're going to sit there and say Sony makes more money than Microsoft?
Give them a link, because I think they say like they already do that when the whatchamacallit.
Sony makes more money than Microsoft.
I'm talking about games. I'm talking about games, software. I'm talking about games. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about games here. I'm not talking about Microsoft as a whole corporation. I don't know why we got on that. We're talking about the gaming division. That's what we're talking about.
No, this is what I said. I said for every game that gets sold on the PlayStation, for whatever, Microsoft gets a check. That's all that I said. And you went and jumped out the window. What are you talking about? They own Blu-ray. Like I said, we can deal with opinions.
That's what I'm saying. We can go both ways with that. Like, we need to get back on track.
You know what? Even when better.
We need to get back on track.
You want to talk about how Microsoft?
We got way off track, guys.
Yeah, we got to get back on track, guys.
I'm gonna shut the hell up. Actually, I'm about to go to the door upstairs right quick. I'm gonna say this one thing. When I say, Microsoft got their hands all in Sony's pockets. Fact, and this is fact. For every PS4 DualShock 4 that gets sold, Microsoft gets a check. For every
God.
Okay, fact. Want to do a fact? It was a little company called Immersion that sued Sony for that Rumble technology. Remember when the PS3 came out and their controls didn't rumble? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, and they also sued Microsoft. Okay, they also sued Microsoft. When Microsoft paid what they were suing for, that was like $10 million, and bought half the fucking company. Excuse me, bought half the company. So again, these are a lot of things are not public. I said I deal with facts. You know what I mean? Again, so I ain't mean to go in the bag and bring out the stuff that we can table debate. So don't again. So a lot of things are not published. And again, it's like being a boss. I'll get you like this. When I was out there in the height of my drug dealing deals, I got a kick out of people hustling for me. Well, it was safe for me. They didn't know they was hustling for me. So again, I didn't make it. Such and such selling for me. And again, that doesn't. I'm still making my money in low key. So again, I guess for this fanboy stuff for entertainment. But again, Microsoft has their hands all in gaming in their pockets, period. You know what I mean? Like I said, the program that they use, I think it's called Visual something. Microsoft made the program and to make the games. Like Microsoft got their hands in so many different. If I wasn't on my cell phone right now, I'll give you guys a bunch of links and you can Google it for yourself if you want to. Like I said, and again, just talking about who makes money on game. Like I said, Microsoft makes a lot of money when it comes to games. Now, but it is what it is. And shall I digress? My man Dizzy, take over, man. Just break these pony legs, man. I'm going upstairs right quick. Take over. Don't let these jokers get in the show. We got them on the road, ladies and gentlemen.
We got some time left. So I want to make sure that everybody got a chance to say their piece. At this point,
we went from Ps4 Pro to what company making more?
No, yeah, okay. That whole thing right there, I get what everybody is saying or whatever like that, but that ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about right here, right now. So let's end. We got maybe 20 minutes left. Let's end on what we talking about.
Let me go around the bend really fast. Give me a honest. I want everybody. I know we pick sides here and we go to bat for our side, we go against side, and we do it like I said. We do it all for entertainment. At the end of the day, all of us we're gamers. That's what it is. We play games. And that's what it's about. So I want everybody to give me an honest opinion on today. Give me a 1 out of 10 and based on 1 out of 10 on what you thought today was going to be and what you saw. So, Crunk Girl, let's start with you, then we'll move around the beam.
Well, since my sky wasn't so high as others, I was like in the middle. I was at like a 5, and I was like, they got to prove me. So I'll give them like a 7.5, 8.
Okay.
That's what me from what they showed me and what I saw. I was a little mad we didn't see stuff, but we also got 2 more gaming events coming up for the rest of the year because we got Paris Game Week and we got Tokyo Game Show. So it's still more stuff coming.
Okay.
So I'm not so surprised.
I would probably give this thing a 6. I mean, they showed something as far as an upgrade and everything, but I mean, it just wasn't impressive. It wasn't something that said that you got to go buy this to me. So, and again, they were boring. I get it. It was done for the press, but if it was done for the press, you also don't show that out to your consumer base as well. So, yeah.
Apple does it. Microsoft does it.
I saw in the comment section somebody said Mamacita is the new truth of YouTube. Cause she out here, man. This gonna be a hell of a podcast with Mamacita, man. We're gonna have so much fun. Mamacita, what score are you giving it? Oh,
Mamacita.
Then we lost Mamacita.
Where are you, girl?
She's probably on mute. No, she ain't on mute.
Nah, she ain't on mute.
Wait real quick.
Well, we'll come back to it. Nick, give it a score, man.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a score, and I got something to say because I always got something to say. So I'm gonna give it a solid 8, and the reason being is because yes, this was a press event, wasn't a gaming conference and all this other stuff. It was a press event, and the reason why I give it an 8 is because they definitely did communicate what the Pro is. They let us know exactly what we can expect from the Pro. I think the communication was very streamlined. It made sense. The only real problem I had with it was that I think that the release of the VR, the Slim, and the Pro all at once is a bit convoluted. I would have thought they would have released the Pro maybe beginning of the year, between like January, March, something like that. So I would have thought they would have done that. But other than that, overall, I think it was a solid press event. Very knowledgeable, and also want to add, I think it's very strategic, and I think it's very smart for what they are doing, because you guys have to really realize here that for at least a year, if not more, okay, at least a year, if not more, PlayStation once again will solidify that they have the most powerful console on the market with arguably the best games, the most games. That's not even arguable. They do have the most games on the market that will appeal to the most consumers for a whole year. For a whole year, you also have to realize that every Digital Foundry comparison, PlayStation 4 Pro will come out on top. Like now, as far as graphics, resolution, frames, all that stuff, they will come out on top. So they will be the talk of the town. They will be the talk of the town. They're going to be the talk of the town for a whole year at least. So you guys realize how significant that is? That's a hell of a strategy. So you got to give Sony
how long until the next PlayStation comes out? How long till the next PlayStation comes out? Because the Xbox Scorpio might have that advantage for longer than a year. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't champion that, because that script is going to flip on you so fast.
No, I'm championing it. I'm giving them credit because of what they're doing now. Just like everybody's championing a not released yet Scorpio that's still in the works.
No, you know what I'm saying
in the works. That's like a ghost right now. I'm championing the strategic. I'm championing how strategic Sony is being right now. That's why I'm championing. I can get behind that. I respect that. I think it was smart.
The problem with that is you're championing how they're so strategic for having a year, the most powerful console, and everything will be Sony better. But why is it not a strategic plus for Microsoft when they're going to have a longer advantage than Sony will as far as the power goes? You're talking about a year.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about let's talk about the Scorpio then, because I mean today is honestly about the Pro and stuff, but yeah, it's competition, so we can talk about that. Like I've said before, I'm definitely impressed by the possibility thereof that the Scorpio will be native 4K 60. Albert came on our podcast and confirmed that no compromise, but it won't be every single game. He did state that. He said it would be based on developers and what they want to use, how they want to use it, all that stuff. So that's definitely impressive. I'm not taking away from that to any degree. All I'm saying is that what the here and now states is that Sony is basically solidifying their dominance in the industry, and that, the Scorpio is still in the works. Things can change. Things could change. It could look a little different by the time it actually releases. So that's all I'm saying. Like, we have something tangible right now. You guys are talking about a ghost.
Okay. I'm gonna let you, Mamacita.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a favor. Give me a 1 out of 10. Tell me what you thought of the show. Give me 1 out of 10, Mamacita.
Honestly, I would give the show about a 6.
Okay, why 6?
Yeah, I give it about 6. I mean, like I said, the presentation to me was just. It was a complete turnoff, and I am really big on presentations. I watch Apple, Microsoft, Google. I'm always there. I'm watching Bill, so I watch press conferences all the time, and it was just completely boring. But
lifeless.
take that aside. Let's remove the boring part. Let's just talk about even what they presented. Funker asked earlier what we were expecting. Well, for me, when I found out that there were 2 consoles, because mind you, only up until maybe a few weeks ago, we didn't know that I didn't know that there were 2 consoles. You know, I've heard about Neo, but once I heard that there was a Slim and then possibly a Neo as well, I was expecting the Neo to be on Scorpio levels. I was expecting to hear that, 4K, 60 frames per second gaming. I was just expecting more meat to what we heard. And what I pretty much heard was something that's, okay, well, it may visually and it may look a little better, but I mean, I'm not sold on that. Now, I have an Xbox One S only because I had 2 Xbox Ones and I did upgrade one of them. I wanted to upgrade my PS4. You know, I'm a console gamer, period. I game PS4, Xbox, but I'm here representing Xbox team. Yay. But
That's what's up.
But I was hoping to hear something that was going to make me run on Amazon or online and pre-order, the PS4 Neo. And I just didn't get that. I didn't get it. I was like, oh, well, I'll just wait for the PS5 then, because it's no point at this point in the gaming.
At this point, right?
Cycle. It really, at this point, it's no point.
Your mind may be able to change if they talk about the games that are coming out maybe next year or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, if next year, if next year, then there's, there's something obviously different, and then features and services as well in addition to that, then I'll entertain that thought then.
Okay. Mr. Official, our special guest today is that didn't get that much airtime. My apologies about that, man. Give me your score, man, and really your breakdown of today and why you gave it that score.
Oh man! All right, I give it a solid 8. My expectations wasn't too high, but the price points are very attractive, and for me being a primarily PlayStation gamer, I already know that I will at least be able to experience whether it's 4K native or upscale, because I don't think that they really specified that yet, because it could possibly still be 4K native, just not 4K 60. It could be 4K 30, low to mid range resolution for those who care about that. So I give it an 8 because I know that I'm at least getting a better product. In regards to the
4K 30.
Yeah. I still believe that, unless they say otherwise, then I believe it's possible. It's more than likely possible. Like I said, it's not going to be high settings, ultra settings, or anything like that.
I would say this like this. All right,
hold on.
Yeah, let me finish, bro. Before you get into your snake oil salesman thing. All right. Let me finish. All right. So, I mean, for the most part, me knowing that I'm going to get the games that I'm already looking forward to. Final Fantasy 15, and other games and whatnot off the top of the dome. I'm looking forward to it. I was pretty satisfied with it. I didn't expect the conference to be anything like E3 or PSX, anything like that. There have been plenty of other, press events in which they weren't too exciting, but they got the message across, i.e. Apple, the Microsoft Win 10 event, stuff like that they've had, GDC, hell. So for the most part, PlayStation did what they needed to do. They got the message out. We now know that there's going to be 2 SKUs and things like that. So I was pretty satisfied with it. I didn't go in expecting anything spectacular to be shown other than such. So I think with me having like a not so high expectation, it came out decent. Now you can go ahead and go into your rant, Zaya.
Next gen. Go ahead, my brother, and give it a score, man. And tell us why you gave it that score.
Oh, I'm sorry. We scoring it. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is based off of what you expected it to be and what we got. What score would you give it out of 10?
Okay, I will give him I might give him a 6.2, 6.5. And the reason why is that far as what I don't know, like I said, far as I knew what I was getting, as far as the power of the console, and like I said, they showed it at E3. And if you think people still think that your standard PS4, which you had in your home for 3 years, can achieve those visuals and that fidelity, that trust me, if my PS4, maybe y'all might have got a more powerful PS4 than me. If my PS4 can give me the visual fidelity of God of War that we saw at E3, I wouldn't be buying a Neo. And I'm just being honest. I would be happy with that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But the presentation, Mark Cerny, he's not a good. He was up there. I guess for him, 4K and every game HDR and like he was bad. And one thing I've been hyping up about Sony for the last 2 weeks is normally Sony does a good presentation. Because they're into movies and music, you know what I mean. So usually, you know what I mean.
I usually don't admit that during E3.
I know. Bro, you must watch my content. Listen, I give credit when credit.
I did say E3. He liked the presentation. He does.
Yeah, I give credit when credit's due, and Sony gives a good presentation. You know, because they're in the entertainment. They're in the entertainment industry, but this show here was very lackluster. You know what I mean. At the end of the day, and also too, I didn't see anything new. I was waiting, prime example, when they first announced the PlayStation 4, their show, I was excited. I seen surprised. I was excited. I didn't get anything new at this thing here. It wasn't nothing for me to look forward to be excited about. You know, they're talking about, like they digging up stuff from the grave, the infamous light, and like, come on, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're bugging. Like I said, I gave it a 6.5 because they didn't bring anything new to the table. You know what I mean? And upscaling stuff, Microsoft did that already hit E3. Give me what else is the benefits of me buying this console? And to me, they didn't. Even though I'm gonna buy one because I got rid of my PS4 because I was excited. And I'm still gonna get I'm still gonna get the Pro. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but if I didn't have a PlayStation 4, to be honest with you, or if I didn't have the money financially, I couldn't really justify me going out to get this. To me, it wasn't that big of a jump. You know what I mean? Like, but that's just my opinion. So I digress.
Okay, Crunk Girl, you said you got a question for us before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I do got a question. What games do y'all think they should have showed that would have shown the difference between what we got now and what's coming?
Honestly, for me, it wasn't about what games they showed to me. I would have liked to see the comparison between the two consoles. That's just me.
Good point. But I don't think they did that because they still have to sell.
With Tomb Raider? Didn't they do that with Tomb Raider?
No.
I think they talked about it was like 3 settings or something like that. I think Horizon.
Talking about side by side comparison.
Oh, you side by side.
Yeah.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
for me, when I saw Horizon, I could tell that joint looked different. It looked like the colors look very vibrant. It's just like subtle things. But the E3 Horizon looked really good too. Like the game just looked.
It was more colorful. I mean, it was just upscaled to 4K and they added HDR to it. But
it looks more colorful. It looks more brighter. The lighting looked better. Like Horizon blew my mind. That game still.
Nice looking game.
That game crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's my top PS4 game.
Hey, really quick.
People can't stand Gorilla. It can't say that the games don't look good. Gorilla
games will be fun.
Always look good.
I hope it's fun.
Really quick, hey, next year, maybe Mr. Fisher, one of you guys know. Like I said, I think one of the dopest things about this conference, this meeting or whatever it was that all the OG PS4s will now do the 1080p HDR. Can Microsoft not do that for the Xbox? Is that not possible?
Well, here's the thing. As far as the PS4 has a custom, chip. It has a custom chip.
What is the CPU chip?
No, I think on the GPU side, and maybe like I said, maybe it's a little bit more powerful. The reason why,
they already had this in the pipeline. They already knew what they were going to do with it.
Well, and again, like I said, more credit to Sony. I know what's like as far as Microsoft. I don't know if it's more of a hardware issue or Microsoft thing, and maybe Microsoft may have put themselves in the corner by because that was one of the huge selling points of selling the Xbox One S was the HDR. So I don't know if they can go back and say, hey, we found, I don't know if they can do that, at the end of the day. But I think when it was asked around E3, because the standard, I was under the impression when they first went at Windows event and Phil started talking about how they was doing HDR, I thought it was just going to be, before we knew anything about the Slim and the Scorpio, I thought it was just going to be an update for the Xbox, the regular Xbox One. But I think it was either Albert Pinello or Mike Navarro said that no, it couldn't be done in a software thing. But Sony's doing it. Like I said, I don't know. You know
Also,
what I mean?
HDR isn't they. So
Yeah, but
basically,
it's different.
It's not on the regular.
It's a different. It's a huge. Well, again, it's a difference. It's the Xbox One S does HDR in 4K, which is like the same thing the Pro was going to do. The standard PS4 is doing HDR in 1080p.
Okay, that's weird though. They had to plan for that since. Like I didn't think PS4 was gonna be able to do that. That actually did shock.
Sony is a hardware company, make televisions and stuff, and you know.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like that's why I was like, when I heard that, I was like, wow, like the PS4 already. The only thing they got to do is a firmware update. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean, you know, which is, but again, but even those people that are, you know, for you to take advantage of that, you had to have a 4K television.
True.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So,
but I mean, we never knew it was already in the box. I guess they held that tight to the frame.
Well, most games, or when they develop, I was reading an article, they are developed, like I said, in with HDR. That's again, it's not a new technology. Something that's very old. It's not something, like I said, that's new. You know, at the end of the day, I'm just happy again. Like I said, this is a huge thing, Mr. Official. I don't know your financial situation, but like I said, you know, Best Buy right now got a decent television. You know, what I mean, not a bad television. The Vizio, 2016 model with HDR, both Pro and Dolby Vision, you know what I mean? HDR10, which is the industry standard, both $800, and you get the Xbox One S. Not a bad deal. It's actually a great deal. You know what I mean, but it is what it is. We should see. You know what I mean?
All right, so man, this is one hell of a show, man. I appreciate everybody coming through.
Sure.
Especially to the panel. You know, like I said, sad day to say bye to Dizzy, man, but I'm sure we'll have him on as a guest going forward.
Good riddance.
Big shout out to Mama Cita, man. Like I said, she is the newest addition to the podcast. So we'll be me and Mama Cita every other week versus Nick and Crunk Girl. Big, huge shout out to the boy, Mr. Official VG. And of course to the homie Next Gen 720 for coming out rocking with us, man. It was one hell of a show. I think the back and forth between Next Gen and Nico is one hell of a concept.
Hey, bro. Hey, listen, you want to set that up? Because I'll destroy him. Hey, you want to debate me, bro?
You know what? I would love to host that.
Oh man.
Hey, bro, he get with a lot of opinions, man. That's cool. You can have your opinion, but you know what I mean.
Nah, you got a lot of opinions too,
don't lie, man.
You got a lot of opinions that you be claiming as facts. I'm like, dog, what you talking about right now?
What I think,
better on the Scorpio.
Set up a date. I think you two with a debate, man. That's made for TV type shit, man.
Yeah, you said, man.
That's a beautiful thing.
You notice ain't nobody back doing that, bro. Ain't none of your boys follow you like
that. Even Nick believe me, but hey, I couldn't say much, man. Was in here whipping and cooking and chefing, so I.
No, I'm come on. You like, come on. We can all agree on that.
Nah, Nick held it down, man.
I'm always good, dog. I'm always good out here.
We're gonna hop up out of here, man. We're probably gonna talk somewhere after the show's over. But big shout out to everybody that's watching, man. Make sure you guys hit up our website, TiCGen.com. And don't forget, in the description down below, there is a link to a Gears of War 4 giveaway. Make sure you guys check that out. Once again, thanks for the entire panel. Thanks for the special guest, Mr. Official, Next Gen 720. And we out.
Peace.
Peace.